Welcome to Short Game Long Talk, a video game podcast where we play short games and talk about them for a long time. I am one of your co-hosts, Eric, and joined always by my co-host, Jess.
Hi.
And we are joined by first-time guest host, host of Fake Gamer Bro, and somebody you might see floating around our Discord from time to time. It is Jackie. How's it going, Jackie?
It is going pretty well. It is way too hot all the time, but besides that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think this is the fifth or sixth conversation I've had today about like weather and heat right now. And like
it's July. That's what it is.
Yeah. We're in Arizona, so it's usually starts like last month about heat. But yeah, it's been hot. But we're happy to have you. We played a game that you play tested. And we're kind of doing a little crossover because this game is also a mobile game. Which while playing it, I did think this is probably better on mobile. So I'm curious to hear your takes on that. But we played Expelled, which is a overboard game, which is it. I was like, why is it called that? And then it's revealed that this is like pretty early on. It revealed that this is a prequel to the game Overboard. It's a mystery game where you make a lot of choices, and there's a very, very like untrustworthy narrator through the whole time. And it's pretty fun. The writing is great and everything, but how long did it take you guys to beat it?
It took me 30 minutes on my brother's computer and then 3.9 hours on my computer. So basically like 4.5 hours.
Okay.
I playtested it, so my time means nothing. I have like 10 hours or something in there, so who knows? Who knows how long?
Right. Yeah, for me, I don't know what it was. I definitely went into this like feeling a little cocky because I played Blueprints and felt good about that. And then I played Tunic and I felt good about that. And then I played this thinking, yeah, puzzles, logic, all that stuff. And it took me 8.5 hours to do this game. And I think it's because I did go for multiple endings and things like that. For like I was looking for a satisfying ending, basically. So I'm very curious where we all landed with those. But yeah, it's basically what's the best way, if either one of you wants to take this, the best way to describe this game, because it's got a lot going for it.
It's like a time loop where your knowledge persists between each time loop. So, I mean, I guess you could call it a narrative roguelike because yeah, you just unlock more secrets and figure out what everyone's up to. And it's really called an overboard game because it improves the overboard mechanics. I mean, there is that tie-in as well, but where overboard you are doing a time loop to get away with murdering your husband at the beginning. So you are figuring out everyone's patterns and yeah, just figuring out how to do everything you need to do based on what time it is and how much you know.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of describing it because yeah, basically you are on a time limit for every loop, basically. It's not like, okay, yeah, you just keep going until you fail and it starts over. It's like if you get to a certain time period, like it's going to reset every single time. And the way it works is basically you have, what is it, like 6 locations you can choose from and go to, and doing literally anything takes time. Sitting, reading things takes time. Like I noticed that like the time was never stopped unless I actually paused the game, which was a little stressful. But Jess, what's your take at this game as somebody who's like still kind of figuring out what games they enjoy and things like that? So how would you describe it?
Well, when I started playing it, because I played it like both days of the weekend, my friend is getting into gaming and she was like, I want like storytelling. And I was like, oh, you should play this game with me while I'm playing it.
Oh, nice.
So she's currently playing that, but she's getting very frustrated with it.
Yeah.
I feel like Jackie explained it pretty perfectly. It's like
it's honestly,
I feel like I don't have much to add to that.
a narrative like point and click roguelike is like perfect, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Like visual novel-esque.
Definitely visual novel, definitely a lot of influence from other like mystery style games. Yeah, it kind of we'll get into it more in the spoiler section, but it kind of sputters on what I think, like it trips over itself in the way that I think mystery games do, or time loop games, I should say, do best is when you, the player, are able to retain knowledge and utilize it whenever you want. Whereas in this game, a lot of the times you need to be in the exact same scenario, talking to the right person, saying the exact right thing to get to the point to where you can utilize that information that you have, instead of just being able to blurt out things where you're like, hey, this is what the fuck is happening. Let me utilize the information I just discovered. So
that would
it's
be
like
a much shorter game.
it would be. It would be. But maybe you just make it harder to get that information, you know? Because it feels like a lot of the information is like, oh, that's the linchpin, but I'm like, well, I can't use it right now, and that's kind of where I got a little frustrated. I think this is a game that I will probably criticize pretty heavily compared to a lot of games that are on this show, but it's because I can see a game that's so much better. And it's not like, because I think if it was a game that I just didn't like, I'd be like, you both like you guys take it and I'll just kind of chime in here and there. This is a game I liked but it had so many issues for me. So I'm very curious for Jess, who you finished it if I finished it in 4 hours, I probably would have very much liked it.
I did. I really like this game.
So I'm very excited to hear that, because I'm like, what did I miss? What did I do wrong that made like this experience not as good for me?
I don't think it's that. I think I'm just very good at like pattern recognition and like being able to recreate the exact same scenarios over and over again.
Fair.
And then when I would deviate from doing the exact same scenario and like choosing a different option and seeing how that gets me in that scene, then if it got me further, then okay, cool, continue on. But if it didn't get me further, I would just restart the scene, because you can do that.
Yeah. I think I didn't utilize that nearly enough, because it's something I kept forgetting about, which maybe that would have improved my thing overall. But yeah, the setting of this game, it's set in 1922 in a Christian, like I'm assuming Catholic. It felt very Catholic.
Catholic nun.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There's a Catholic like boarding school, basically, with girls from ages, I think the youngest that we saw is probably like maybe like 13 or 14 up to like 18-year-olds. And yeah, the starting, this is not a spoiler. It really sounds like a spoiler, but it's not.
It's not.
Literally the opening scene of this game is that the captain of the field hockey team falls out of the like 300-year-old stained glass window on the second or third floor and falls into a bush, and basically you get blamed. Your character's name is Verity, and she gets blamed for that, and your whole thing is like you get expelled. On your first playthrough, you get expelled very quickly. And then it's like cuts to you telling the story to your dad at a bar nearby, and he's like, well, that's not like tell me what really happened. And then it time loops, and as you go on, you unlock more information, you get a little further in the story, you extend the time it takes to get expelled, basically, is like the main goal early on, is like try to avoid the person that's going to expel you, or get some information that stops them from expelling you until this point in time. And you just keep doing that over and over again, and you get more information and more tricks and meet more characters and basically do that until you don't get expelled. And then there's a couple other different options that we'll talk about. But is there anything else we should talk about before we go into the kind of something that's never been done on this show, which is Jackie talking about the actual game engine that's used in this, which I'm very excited to hear about.
Yeah, I do want to say that you have to be mean in this game. It's in the trailer. Yeah, before I wasn't sure if that was like a spoiler, but it's in the trailer. It's in the description, everything. Being mean is a huge point of this game. It's how you get stuff done, because you have to like be kind of a bad person to like go to places that you're not supposed to be at this time of day or whatever. So I think that's something to keep in mind if you're like me, who has to be nice to everyone forever. That this can be a really fun game to play, but you have to get into the mindset that being mean to people is like a lot of the point.
Right.
Yeah,
like one of the ones. One of the ones that like stood out to me the most was where it was like telling me I could throw a book at my favorite teacher in the game, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. What the
yeah.
But no, like there's literally an achievement for like knocking out 8 people in one run.
Yep.
That is a good point. I completely forgot about that mechanic. I was so confused by that at first too, because like it doesn't outright show you like, oh, it basically starts you on a scale from 0 to 100 of being evil, like straight up evil is what it's called. And it doesn't make it clear that like, oh, you hit this point, so now you can do this kind of thing.
So,
Mhm.
what it does is if you try to go to places you can't get yet because you're too nice, it will say you have to be this level of mean to get there.
Gotcha.
So it kind of does it, I guess, the opposite way, where it doesn't tell you when you reach the milestones. It just tells you if you haven't gotten there yet and you're trying to do something.
Right. Yeah, because what I did was I basically like I can't think of another way of describing this, but power leveled to like 80, 90 like so quickly. Like by the time it was like noon on like the second day, I was like the meanest person ever once I like figured that out. But then I was like, okay, well, what do I do with this? Because nothing's like now I have no roadblocks. So that would make more sense if I would have ran into like, oh, you can't go here because of this. Then I'd be like, ah, got it. So by being mean, I'll unlock more stuff, kind of thing. That is interesting. That I just kind of like
Yeah,
just
you just
sprinted
skipped
past.
that.
Yeah, didn't even get to the point of that. I was just like, well, no, I'm just gonna be mean to everyone. Jess, how did you like that? You said you struggled a bit with being mean.
Yeah, I didn't choose any, like, mean things until, like, the 3rd day.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was trying so hard to not be mean to anyone. I was like, "Cool, whatever." And then, like, the 3rd or, like, 4th day that I, like, did the time loop, I was talking to the head
Headmaster, yeah.
lady. Yeah. And it only gave me mean options to her. And I was like, "I don't
Right.
wanna say any of this. It's gonna get me expelled."
And you're like, well, gonna get there
So
anyways.
so I chose, like, the meanest one, and it like, the game, like, congratulated me for it. I was like, "Oh, I need oh, okay." And so I
Yeah.
started being mean to people, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
I think that's how I power leveled. Like I think on the second day, because you get like 10 to 15 points per insult with the headmaster in that scene, and I think I just like blew past the required amount. And then eventually, like once you hit 100, there's a way to go past 100, but once you hit 100, even the mean, like even if they are mean responses, they're not highlighted in red anymore because like they
Yeah.
don't get you any points. So like nothing was red for a while until I figured out how to blow past that even and become truly evil.
It's
Uh,
crazy. The only Oh, you go, Jackie.
I was just gonna say behind the scenes of the headmistress being so happy when you say mean stuff, that used to not be a thing. When I started playtesting, it wasn't a thing, and it took me so long to start saying mean stuff to people, like you said,
Hmm.
Jess. But they start encouraging you to do that really early on now. When used to like there weren't all those mean options you got
Hmm.
railroaded into, and it's like, oh, we need to make sure people know you have to be mean in this.
Yeah, I wonder if that could have been avoided by not making it like evil or anything like that, like in reframing what the mechanic was, like being
Yeah.
like snarky or something like that instead of like, because like when we play games, there's like the evil choice, the neutral choice, and the good choice typically, right? And like most of the time, if we're going to play through something for the first time, we're going to usually hover between like neutral and good. So I think maybe reframing it a bit to be a different phrase. I don't know, right? I'm not behind closed doors on that, and I didn't pay attention too much to that mechanic once I got it to 100. But maybe that's something that could have been done to make it like, because like you said, Jackie, you don't ever want to be mean to anybody in a video game,
Yeah.
right? What if they come to life somehow? We've seen there's lots of animes where shit like that happens. What if that happens? And then they're like, that person was really mean to me. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I think that's an interesting mechanic. Jess, you were gonna say something.
I forgot.
Okay. Moving on. Do we have anything else before we you
I
remembered?
remember.
Okay. Beautiful.
You just mentioned that, you got, like, to 100 and there's a point past 100.
Yeah.
I got to, like, 75, and then I was cruising for the rest of the game.
Yeah. When I found out there was a way to get past 100, I was like, well, what happens basically, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like we're going to talk a bit later towards the end of this episode about like what the next game for the show is, and that game is just all that shit. But what if I did more? Is basically the entire concept of our next game. But yeah, that's very interesting because when I had to eventually resort to a guide, which maybe by the time I talk about what the hell I did, Jess, you're gonna be like, I didn't do like any of that, and then that's why I didn't like this game, because I just did a little too much. And I will, I had to use a guide to like kind of get what I felt like was a satisfying conclusion of this game. But I will defend this game a bit because Phil in the Discord, fellow corner of the internet network person, was like, "Oh, I loved this game," and then he framed it in the fact that he played it on his commute over like 2 months time span, and I was like, "That's probably the best way to play this game, and not 2 marathon sessions that I did." So I think that kind of lends it to the fact that this probably is a great mobile game where you can just play it on your phone, and it's also like cheaper on phones for whatever reason. So Jackie, did you play it on mobile when you were testing it, or was it on PC?
I did both. When
Okay.
the mobile build wasn't ready whenever I started testing, but then I did go over to mobile. I will say it's cheaper on mobile because people will not pay much more than that for mobile games. Like that's just the culture around mobile games is no one wants to pay money, much less the full price of a computer game.
That's
So
true. That is
yeah.
something you've brought up quite a bit on your show, like where it's like, the hard cap basically on mobile games is like if it's gonna sell at all, it's gonna be like $10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard unless it's like a really like standard IP. Like I think there's some Professor Layton games that are more expensive than that on mobile. But no, this is a visual novels I tend to like to just play on the computer more. So I didn't test like I didn't play through it a whole bunch on mobile, even though that's my whole brand.
Yeah, I do think it fits well as a mobile game, and especially as like a kind of like how Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, and even a little less so, but more like still like DS games, like the purely handheld games where they are like
Yeah.
you can play these in little spurts where it's like, oh yeah, you have like a 15-minute drive and you're sitting like you're driving somewhere with your mom or something like that. Like that seems like the perfect way to play this. Cause yeah, the runs, like a run does not take that long. And you can, unlike a lot of roguelikes, you can like back out and then come back into a session if you need to, which is really nice.
Yeah. I did play it on my Steam Deck, which
Nice.
I don't think it's Steam Deck verified, but that's just because like in order to submit a bug report, like the keyboard can be a bit weird. I mean, maybe some of the text is small, but it works well in the Steam Deck, so that's
Yeah,
another option.
it's on Switch, so like
Oh yeah.
there's no reason it wouldn't work on Steam Deck. So that seems like a good option as well. All right. Anything else before we go into the whole back end of this game? Because I'm very curious about that. All right. So Jackie, you kind of told us like pre-recording that Inkle is the like game the whole like what is it, the engine that this game is built on?
Yeah.
And you've utilized that before.
Yeah. So the the names are really dumb. Inkle is the name of the company. There is Inkle Writer, which is a version of I think they call it a scripting language rather than an engine that you can use on the browser that's way more simplified. Ink is the actual like scripting language that gets used for everything. It is terrible SEO. It is so hard to find stuff when I'm trying to look for like ink assets or ink guide for this. But it is like I said, it's a scripting language. So it's like, if you know Twine, which is an interactive fiction, scripting language, game engine or whatever, there's a bunch of stuff like that. And the big thing about Ink is that it can connect to a lot of stuff. Unity is what is most commonly used. I believe that was what was used for Expelled and most of their games. I think they just
Yeah, I
connected
think
to
so. I
Unity.
think I remember seeing the Unity logo.
Yeah, but it's also like really big with JavaScript. It's I think Godot it has some utilities with. Is people hack this all the time to get it. Like they have a server and they have channels specifically for people who are messing with the engine or putting it on other engines. And it's got a really big community. It's just they're mostly on either the Discord or on GitHub. But you can also just use it like plain ink. It will create a browser game basically. So I have it on my my itch, which is Amberlin, not to promote myself in the middle of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've made some games in it. Like most recently, I co-made a game with Matt. I can't remember his handle right now, but we made a game.
Matt Horton, right?
Matt Horton, yes.
Yeah.
We co-made a game in January, which was just we wrote the script in ink, and unlike Twine, which kind of uses these, it's more visual where you have like a box that connects to another, the other boxes of the choices that you're writing.
Mm-hmm.
Ink is more like you are writing a story, and then there's like the little bits of code that links to the different choices within that.
Huh. That's very cool.
Yeah, so it can just look like it really depends on what you want to see and how what makes sense to you whenever you're writing. But I really like a lot of the functionality that Ink has, and yeah, you can do so much with it. It's all free and open source and everything, and it is currently my favorite interactive fiction scripting language.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a fun in between because we've had game devs on here, but they don't really talk about the process of making the game itself. Yeah. They talk about the creative process of how to write it and design it and all that stuff. So the actual back end is very interesting to me. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever do it, but
so you definitely could. That's one thing I want to say about Ink. It is anyone can do this. Like you don't have to know programming. You don't have to know like C# or you don't even really have to know JavaScript if you don't want to mess with anything really. It is you write it, you learn some of the like language, which they have like open source guides out there. Like they have a book as well that I bought, but it's pretty much just whatever's on their GitHub page that explains everything. I think there's like a little bit more, like an example or something. But I will say that if you are interested in interactive fiction, if you are interested in like dipping your toe into games, Ink is definitely a really good way to do that. You don't have to know any coding in order to get into Ink.
I do have an idea for a game that would probably be good for interactive fiction, visual novel stuff. So maybe someday when I have more time and I'm not doing all of this, but that's not going to be for a while. But that's very cool. So Inkle is the company that makes the Overboard series, but they are also the company that does Ink, or is it just they named themselves after the program?
No, they made Ink. So yeah, they made their own scripting language to make their games. Yeah.
Love that. That's always so cool.
Yeah.
They're like, none of these work for us. I'm making my own. I love that.
Pretty much.
And on top of that, it's like very cool that they did it in a way that is people can use it. Because I remember, one of the best worst developers of all time is Bungie, because they make their own engines, but then their engine is so poorly optimized that whenever they want to make a change, I remember early Destiny days, to make a change to like a small rock, they had to render the entirety of Destiny 1 again, basically. And it was just like so inefficient. So to be able to make something that was yours and it's proprietary and like you can also just have it out there for people to use is very, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I think that about does it. Do we have any closing statements before we go into spoiler territory?
I don't think so.
Okay. No. Cool. Then you're going to hear a noise and then that'll mean we're in spoilers. Like I said, the layout of this game is kind of hard to talk about. So I don't really, if either of you have an idea of how to like tell the story of this fucking game, feel free, but I'll just kind of wing it until you guys want to interject, because holy shit, there's so much going on.
Yeah. I mean, we can, the most basic I can think of is just like the two like time goals you have. Like the first is to get past the assembly without being expelled, and then the second is to make it to prize giving without being expelled. But yeah, beyond that, it is really hard to say because there's so many different things to do at any point in time.
So okay, if I didn't say it, but we're in spoiler territory. That was a really good way of describing things. Because I think the assembly happens at 9 a.m.
Yes.
And then prize giving happens at 1600, which is what, 4?
4.
Yeah. And then basically the game will end at either one of those, whether you get expelled or you survive. You can actually, like, there was a guide that I looked up on how to basically win the game by 9 o'clock, which was crazy. But yeah, I'll go into that a bit. But so we can just kind of talk about the characters. We already talked about the setting, and we can kind of talk about like I'll give an overarching like this is what if you play this game for like 2 hours, you'll kind of make the assumption of what's going on. So basically, what is her name? It is Hardcastle. Hardcastle is the one that falls out of the Louisa Hard. Yeah, she's the one. Her accent written is so funny. She's the one who falls out of the window. At first, it seems like you're being framed, and that she jumped out and she hit with your like jank ass hockey stick to frame you. That you broke the thing and then jumped out, and then you meet the other characters that we're surrounded by are Fifi, who is a French student. We have Rebecca, who is like the youngest, I think, character in the game. She's like a year younger than us.
Rebecca.
Yeah,
I know Susan.
Or Susan. Susan. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, who's Rebecca?
Susan. I think. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know why. Susan is the one that's the youngest. And then we have our incredible roommate, Natty. And then Natasha, yeah. And then who's the other one? The book one. Bridget, yeah. And then I think that's it for the students, right? Well, there's technically Laura, if you've ever met her. She shows up very rarely, but it's very funny. You can basically she's just she's a sixth year that can get expelled or be the head girl if you do certain things right.
There's what's her name?
Sally.
Yeah, Sal. Yeah.
Sal.
In the
Which one is that?
Sick Girl.
Sick Girl. That's right. She's very funny. Yeah, and I'm also curious if we would have if I personally would have enjoyed this game more if I played Overboard first, because it feels like there's especially between Natasha and Verity, there's like a ton of references to Overboard because Natasha can see the future. So there's a lot going on there. But those are the students. Then the faculty, there's Miss Irene, who's the geometry teacher. There's Miss Lemon, who is the librarian / organist / she's the only nice fucking person in this whole game, basically. And then there's the headmaster that goes by the Owl. And then there's what?
Miss Mulligatawny.
Okay.
That's her name. I could not understand. I didn't know how to pronounce it. I would be like, Miss Mull. That one.
Yeah, that's why I think there's the nickname for the Owl, because otherwise I don't think you would keep that straight. Because also there's the joke about her being named after a soup that I just never understood. Did either of you
No, it's a British thing.
Okay,
yeah, cool. That's what
I had to look it up. Yeah,
yeah. I got the explanation from Miss Lemon, and I was like, "What soup is this?" I had no idea. And then there's the matron, who's basically the nurse, and then there's the groundskeeper that I forget his name, but Will worth noting, he's younger. And then there is the chaplain, who is a creep. Hate that guy. That was rough. But I think, is that everyone? Well, there's your dad, but he's not really like a character in the game.
There's your dad. There's Natasha's dad.
Yeah.
The bartender.
The bartender.
Bartender's pretty funny, actually. That's the other thing is, like I said, I'm going to probably critique this game a lot. The dialogue in this game is exceptional. Like, the writing is so good. Like, not once was I ever like, this is dumb. It was more of the mechanics behind things that made me frustrated. But that's everyone, right?
I think so.
Okay. So technically
none Jenny.
None Jenny. You could talk to her. She talks to you.
Yeah, there's also yeah, go ahead.
It's not like a character, and I didn't encounter it, but there's something under the school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a monster.
That's the chaplain.
Oh, I never encountered it. Yeah, I went down the maze and I left, right, right, and then I got out.
Gotcha. Which is funny, I found this when I was looking through the guide, you can get this clue, but I just knew this clue because of the way mazes work. So once I was down there, I just made every left that I could, and eventually made my way to the chaplain, and he's just a creepy man locked down there. because the school is required to have one, but he's a creep, so the owl locks him down there.
Also, she's an atheist and didn't want any other control over the school.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, finding that out. But basically, the main thing is to know that Fifi does not like you. She has many reasons to not like you, and for whatever reason, Hardcastle also does not really like you too much, but mostly is because of Fifi. So you find out really quick that like she's kind of the main antagonist, even though the owl is an absolute piece of shit and one of the most like infuriating characters ever in a video game for me, because she just can't be reasoned with unless you have absolute perfect evidence. The main antagonist is Fifi, and you're trying to take down Fifi to move forward in the story. Would you guys like to talk about some of the like story beats and things that you came across that kind of like took you like by surprise, or like were something that you enjoyed or anything like that? Because that's kind of what we have to do here, because there's no correct order of doing anything. You will eventually get there. It might just take you 8.5 hours or 4.
I think an important piece of context for this is Verity, the character you play as, is an honor student. She's a scholarship student. And one of the reasons she gets such a hard time is because she's there on scholarship. So she is like a poor. And Miss Milligatawny has such a hard time. You have such a hard time convincing her because she could save money by not having this scholarship program. Like it doesn't grant her enough. So her having an excuse to get rid of a scholarship student is great for her.
Right.
Yeah. I found the book really quickly. Like I think a little too quickly.
So what's the book?
So the book is, I forgot exactly what it's called.
The Filth book.
Filth book. I just kept referring to it as the burn book, like from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
But it has, I just like fell off my chair for a second. But so basically it's the burn book from the like Mean Girls movie, where you write, like Verity has written all the gossip and all the drama that she's like ever heard in school. And I found it super, super quickly because I was like, oh, let me check out. I was about to say like spoiler, but we're already here.
We're here.
I was like, let me check out these books in the library. Like, while I like, maybe there's going to be something stuffed, like a note stuffed in a book that's going to help me figure out like what's happening here. And I pick the book up and it's like, oh my God, this is my filth book. And I was like, my what?
That's so crazy. Yeah, because I think the more logical way of doing that is because she hides her filth book underneath her pillow. And if you check under her pillow, she finds another book with your filth book like jacket, the sleeve on it. And so you go find the actual book. Yeah. So that's crazy. You like stumbled upon that. That'd be so confusing. You mean my what? Like, what the fuck is this? That's
And that's when I found out that Fifi is actually Belgian.
Yeah, but she's not actually Belgian. Did you find out what she actually is?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I like completely bed ran this, I guess.
Yeah, you fucking crushed it. But it's a misunderstanding because she's French, and she's an orphan, and that's what people misunderstood her when she was overheard saying she's Belgian. She is an orphan. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know how, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a French accent saying Belgian and orphan and seeing if I can figure out where the miscommunication is. But
yeah, I didn't look it up, but I have a feeling maybe it might be the word orphan in French means like sounds like Belgian, but yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. When I found that out, I was like, huh? How does that even?
I use that as leverage.
Yes, and it doesn't work. I never got it to work. So that's an interesting one for sure when you find out that she's Belgian and it's like this big deal and you're like, why is that a big deal? And then there's like the slight racism that comes out apparently when you bring it up to some people. Like I think Will is like, yeah, you can never trust a Belgian. I was like, what the fuck, Will? Like, what's the matter with you?
English racism.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that like the French word for orphan is can be mistaken for Belgian, because the French word for orphan is orpheline.
Yeah, I don't know then.
So it's interesting.
Maybe she just has a really crazy accent. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of where I want to go next. Like certain things, like one that really stood out to me, which was very funny, is Sal, the sick girl that's always in the like infirmary, basically. If you talk to her enough, she like starts rustling with stuff underneath her sheets, and every time she does that, the matron gets like uncomfortable. And you find out that Sal just has a fucking voodoo doll of the matron.
And it works.
It works.
It does.
Yeah. And then that's when she says, "Oh yeah, I have one for me too. That's how I always end up in here." I'm like, "Sal, that is not okay. Like you're literally like self-harming to like be in the fucking nurse's office all day."
I thought she said the matron has one of her.
I don't think so.
I might have read it wrong.
I think she made one for herself. Then that's how she like uses it, because I think you can ask for the doll, and she says like no, and then she says, "I do have another one, but I can't give you that one either because it's mine. It's like of me to like keep me in here." And I was like, "Damn, it's sad as fuck." But I wouldn't want to go to this school either. It sucks. There's one good teacher in the entire school. And then what's another good one? I'm looking at the
Natasha sees a bunch of burnt bodies.
Yeah, Natasha's actually the lost Princess Anastasia.
That's right. I never got that full plot point, but I knew she had like some kind of other secret life. If you want to go into that a bit.
Yeah. So I didn't get the full thing. I got her diamond that is hidden under her bed, and had her talk about that. And I don't think she ever like officially told me who she was, but I did swear fealty to her. I also never got, but she is like actively for real in love with you.
Yes.
But I never pushed enough buttons to get that. I did in playtesting. I found out the Natasha's in love with me, but I didn't trigger it again with the full version. But yeah, so you can find that out and talk to her dad about it, and like that's a whole other like way to do stuff in the game that I didn't do, because there's a billion ways to do this in the game. But I just thought that was neat, is she has these freaking night terrors about burning bodies.
Right.
And just has a huge diamond on her.
Yeah. It's just in her slippers at all time.
I just like, I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Like she had a rough childhood. Oh well,
she did,
and like she did, but I just didn't like press on it, like continue with going on that arc. But I did every time the like, "I love you, I want to be with you forever, darling," came up. I was like, "I love you too."
Yeah, same. Because yeah, it was weird though, because like she is like confessing her love to you, but it's so, and I think it's because Verity is so unserious all the time that it didn't feel very serious. You know, like there wasn't like some musical notes that like made it like a confessional thing. It felt like, oh yeah, of course you're my roommate, I love you, but it's definitely like they are fully in love, like if you say that kind of thing. So this is very interesting. And it also makes me think, like, what's the story in Overboard? Because I know the ending I got, you meet the future husband that you kill in Overboard. So, which I thought was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, just clicked.
Oh yeah, the ending that you got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that's very funny that happens is like every time you meet a new checkpoint, of like that checklist at the end, because when you get expelled it shows like 4 things, and at first they're blurred out, except for the first one, which is like make it to the awards ceremony or whatever it says. But every time you do one of those things, you get a new start to the game, where Verity changes something because her dad is like, stop fucking lying, basically, and tell me what actually happened. Which eventually, like tops off with the fact that she actually fucking pushed Hardcastle out the window. Like,
yeah,
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Verity? Why am I lying? You did this. Like, this actually happened." And then that's how you just become a terrible person and frame somebody else for doing this, which is crazy. Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" She actually pushed her in malice. Like, I was like, oh my god. But it does lead to some very funny things because if you wait around too long after the start of the day, Bridget comes in and you can just shove her out the window too. Just like so fucked.
Yeah. I was just gonna say she doesn't actually like she just hits her head and then just passes out in part of the knockout thing. But I was gonna say something else and I forgot.
No, so I was gonna say the way that you're able to do all of these like much more evil things is because if you go to the headmaster's office and knock over the owl that's in her, it falls down and there's a bunch of white powder inside. And if you keep tasting it, you talk to the devil and kneel down to him and get the ability to have your evil points go up to 666. So
of course, crazy. Yeah.
And then I think you can talk to the matron and say, "Oh, what's with the white powder inside of the owl?" And she says, "Oh, I thought the headmaster kicked that habit." So it's just cocaine, is what it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Holy shit, that's insane!" Like that, this headmaster just has a owl stuffed with cocaine for whatever reason. But yeah, so games like that scenario is like you got this information and like you can now just randomly talk to somebody about it. That's kind of like how the whole game goes. And I'm trying to think of, there's one plot line that really stood out to me, which is the whole Hardcastle thing in general. That's kind of weaved throughout the whole thing that circles around Hardcastle and Will in general. And like if you pick up on this, you'll hear the headmaster you'll overhear her say to the matron like, "Oh, make sure both of them are okay." You can ruffle through the matron's like documents and find out like when all of the girls' monthlies are, and see that Hardcastle has missed like the last 4 months. You can talk to Will and kind of press him on matters, and you basically find out that Will is not a 23-year-old like he says. He is 18, so he's like almost exactly maybe a year older than Louisa Hardcastle, so it's not as weird, especially not in 1922 standards. Like that's actually extremely wholesome for that time period. And she's pregnant basically, so like that's another reason people think like, oh, she broke the window because the legend of that window is that there was an immaculate inception with nun Jenny, right, is her name. That she just got pregnant and they started the school, and so Louisa's like, I'm gonna break the window so that I'm no longer pregnant, is her logical thinking. Which is that's kind of an example of how cool this game is that is a storyline that you can kind of just find out through playing the game and talking to people. But it's still also very frustrating because sometimes you have all this information and you can't necessarily use it unless in a perfect scenario. But did you both find that out?
Yeah,
I kept pressing Will because I was like, he was like 23. You have to be 23 to work here. So yeah, 23. I was like, nah. Are you sure you're that old? Are you sure you're that old?
Yeah.
Did you know the girl who fell out the window, Louisa? How'd you know her name?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he asked me if she was okay, and I was like, why do you want to know?
Right. Yeah, because otherwise he like tries to avoid most people in the on campus. He just kind of hangs out outside and in the like shed.
Yeah.
Which I got him. I forget how you get this to set up, but if like no one finds Louisa in the bushes, he like drags her to the shed and takes care of her there. And that's how I found out. As I went to go talk, and I was like, I know what's going on. He's like, oh, you know. That's how I found out.
That's a good way. Yeah, because like one thing that I do like that this game does is when you click on a location, it'll show you who's there. And then also it'll show you how long it'll take for you to get there. So if you click on a location and it shows that somebody's there, it might show them leaving too, because it's like, okay, now because everyone's on a set schedule that like, honestly, if you're playing through this game, like I think writing down where people are at what time is probably a great idea, because there's a lot of moving parts. Like half the cast just disappears for hours at a time sometimes, like where you just can't talk to them.
To class.
Yeah, they have the one class that you can go to though, or two classes, I guess, if you count the library. But yeah, it's very interesting because I'm like, oh, I want to talk to this person. And I'm like, where are they? They're not here because it's usually one of the students. But I was gonna say the one where you can when Louisa is in the shed, you can go to the matron and tell her that, oh, Louisa's hurt. She's with Will, and she fell out the window. And you say it in like very similar order of that, and basically the matron just hears that Louisa is with Will, and she's like pissed off because she just knows that this is already happening. So she like runs there, and she's like, "Oh shit!" She's like hurt, and she doesn't even like clock the fact that she fell out the window yet. Like it's so funny. She's just like, "I'm gonna go beat that boy's ass," basically.
Yeah,
it's so funny. But yeah, like there's so many things like that I do love the interactions in this game, but I do think the burn book, not the burn, I guess the burn book. I was going to say the filth book, but the burn book is basically one of my biggest complaints with this game is that you have to find it every time. And it's not annoying, but it does take time in a game that you need time in. And then also you pick it up and you'll get all of the information you've ever learned as notifications at the top that cover the time for minutes at a time sometimes. Because I was like, there's so much information. And I wish it was just like an item that you could access while you pause the game so I could slowly like look through the things. Unless I missed that. Please tell me I missed that. And there's actually like I can review the hints in a way that makes sense.
I don't think so.
Okay. That's my biggest complaint is that, and there's not enough checkpoints in this game. I think this was me not utilizing the rewind thing, but I wish I could just be like, let's go to this time at like right now kind of thing. I wish I could experiment in ways of like, oh, okay, I'm here. Maybe I should have done this. I wish I could rewind like 3 hours ago and redo this so that I'm here kind of thing. Kind of like, I mean, this would be crazy, but I'm sure it's possible. But the way that Sucker for Love does their endings, right? There's branching paths. I would like some bit of a flow chart to be like, okay, there's these 5 major things that happened or whatever in this last run. This is why they happened so that I can like, oh, okay, let's not do that again. Instead of having to go, okay, if I do this, it does this kind of thing. Because there's just so many variables like we've talked about that I just wish there was a better way of keeping track. Jess, you crushed it with recreating things. Me, on the other hand, I was like, I don't know how the fuck I did any of that. Like, because I was just clicking things and then they're like, oh, here's some new information. I was like, how? Wait, what? What did I do? I was not paying attention at all.
Yeah, I also utilize the like fast track. So like if I chose a bad choice at like near the ending of a scene, I would rewind, fast track through that scene, stop before the like choice I had made, make a new choice. I'd get the new information. Cool. Keep fast tracking. Also, because I read really quick.
Yeah.
So the way I know I could have just changed the way the like text popped up. But I was like, hurry up, please.
Yeah, when I eventually was like hunting for different things, that's when I turned everything up to like max speed, and that shit is fast. It goes so quick. But yeah, I like this game. That's the thing is like I just had so like a big enough issue with it that it was like I was just so burnt out by the time I finished it. But I think it was just because I was not utilizing certain things properly. Do we want to talk about characters, or is there any other like I want to talk about like favorite characters and like moments with characters, but is there any other kind of scenarios with this game that you guys want to talk about? Because I'm gonna save my endings for after that, but
Okay.
if there's anything other scenarios that popped up that you guys wanted to talk about.
The chaplain that's hidden under the school is huge. Whenever I first came across like, because Natasha points out that there is like one of the tapestries that's moving in the assembly place. And so you look behind it and you could just go down into this secret maze underneath it, and you just find out so much there that doesn't even necessarily become relevant in a lot of playthroughs or endings or anything. And it's just crazy. That is where like the game like really opened up. It's like, oh, there's so much in here. You can spend so long just getting lost down there.
Yeah. It's wild. There's like 4 things down there of note, but the map is like huge. And they do a thing where while you're down there, you can't tell what time it is anymore. So like but time is still passing. So if you're down there for a while, you'll come up and it's like 4:00 and you're like, oh shit, how long was I down there?
Yeah.
But yeah, the chaplain, the only thing you can kind of use him as somewhat of a leverage towards the headmaster, but in reality, like the only thing you can really do is if you catch Fifi coming out of the cellar and then you go talk to him on that same run, you can get some information about it, but that's about it.
I didn't even know he was down there, to be completely honest with you.
He's a creep. He's a creep for sure.
He's a weird old guy.
Yeah. I did go down there. I just panicked and then left.
Yeah, I mean, if you start to get lost, it is really like you're like, I don't even fucking know where I am, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to keep a map, like a physical, like I was trying to write down what directions I took myself, and I was just very bad at keeping a map.
Yeah, I did see somebody made a map of it, and I was like, yeah, it's not as big, but it feels big because if you make one wrong turn, you're obviously like, I have no idea where I am anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So characters. Who did you guys like? Who did you guys hate the most? I would love to know.
I feel like Natasha is just an easy like favorite character. She's so good. She's like the one person I like never said anything mean to, and it took me so long to like find the diamond because I never wanted to snoop through her stuff.
Right. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, Natasha's that's my girl.
I kind of like weirdly, so yeah, the clear standouts of like these are gonna be people's favorite characters are Natty and Miss Lemon. Miss Lemon is just like a sweetheart who gives you all the information, immediately believes like everything you tell her, and tries to help you as best she can. She's just a cutie, and I love her. And I would never throw a book at her. I refuse. I refuse to do that. But I also really, for whatever reason, I really liked Susan. She was annoying at some points, but she's also just like a kid who like is just telling the truth to the best of her ability, and she's just like excited about everything. So I'm like, she's like, she wants you to sit with her. Like if you elbow her, you think that's gonna be mean, but she just like elbows you back. She's just like a little like good positive energy in this game because I don't know, she just stood out to me compared to everybody else.
Yeah. I also really loved Bridget. Like I was pissed with her for always being oh my god, why am I forgetting her name?
Verity.
Verity's, because her hockey stick, I was like, shut the fuck up. But then getting to know her and her eyesight.
Yeah.
That's just so funny.
I was in like her loving books. I was like, oh, I see myself in you. God damn it. So I like Bridget, especially after being able to convince her that I was Fifi with my bad French accent. I was like, all right, now you're just a sweetheart who cannot see.
Yeah. No, the girls' characters really come out during the like confessional stuff because the way that Susan helps you is so funny because like there's 2 key informations that you can get from Susan because Susan goes to check on Louisa because that's her like school mother, and she finds out that Fifi wasn't in her room when Louisa was getting pushed out the window. That's because she was in the cellar with the chaplain. And so you get that, but then the other one that's really funny is you can be like, she sees you with the hockey stick, and you can be like, oh no, that wasn't me, that was this person. And Susan's like, oh okay.
Oh my god, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it's so funny. She's just like, yeah, okay. And if you don't know where Fifi is, you get the option of framing a 6th that looks like you named Laura. And Verity, we haven't described, is a fairly, not like super tan, but like fairly like more olive skinned brunette with like shoulder length hair. And then Laura gets framed and expelled. And Laura's a short haired blonde white girl. Like, it's like, Susan, how are you going to say that looks like Verity? Like,
that's so funny.
But that was like a funny little interaction with Susan where she's like, oh, okay, yeah, it was Fifi. That's what you get to do later. It's so funny. Oh no, that's not. I'm sorry, it's wrong. You get to lie and say, "Oh, you saw me, yeah," but that was me bringing Fifi's stick to the library, which is very funny. And she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." And then she vouches for you, like no problem. And I was like, "Hell yeah, Susan."
It's so good. I also like the geometry teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She's my mean wife. Like I don't know what to say. Like she loves geometry. She doesn't really care about anything. Natasha thinks she's a vampire. I don't know what you want. Like she's my mean wife.
And she just stays in that geometry class. Once she shows up to work, she never leaves. Like
she
just
does
there.
not care about anything else.
Nope. She just wants to collect her pension and get out of that school. I'm sure.
Out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's funny because she just, if you show up to her geometry class on time, she's extremely helpful. She'll talk to you and answer questions and everything like that. But if you're late at all, she's like, "Get the fuck out of my class."
Basically.
It's so funny. Yeah. So the characters are very, very fun. I think they're really well written, and like finding out stuff about them, like Bridget's eyesight, and like being able to be like, how do you tell like who you're talking to? She's like, oh, voices, which gives you the information that like, oh, okay, I can fake and pretend to be Fifi, which then can, you know, lead to getting Fifi framed basically and expelled. It's very fun, like all the little hidden details. It's just a little tough to find the right things. For me, it felt like it was a little tough without like a flow chart basically, or being able to review the information I had. Like I said, I think if there was a pause menu where it was like, here's your clues, here's the information you have, that would be very helpful. Anything else about the characters?
No, I mean, basically what you said, the characters are great. I can see anyone having any of those characters as their favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, Fifi even has her moments. Like she's so obsessive about being the lead in a play.
Yeah, right?
Being Hermia. I have shit to talk about that.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the fuck this was. I just remember the conversation where she's like, where you get to say as Verity, "Are you calling me a bottom?"
Yeah.
It might be the funniest line in the whole game.
So I've been in that show before, in A Midsummer's Night Dream. I was not Hermia, nor was I bottom. I was actually this character called Snout, and I was also Wall.
Okay.
I basically, the Wall part, I stood with a poncho and I T-posed for like 20 minutes, and I did a monologue for like 10 of those minutes.
Oh yeah.
But I love A Midsummer's Night Dream. And so when she was like, "I want Hermia," I was like, "Oh my god, is this about Midsummer?" But I played stupid, so I was like, "Who? What? What are you talking about? And you will be bottom. Are you calling me a bottom?"
Yeah. So good. Yeah, I didn't realize what that play was because I'm not as cultured.
I have dealt with people like that in like the theater communities of like, "You're gonna give me that role because I'm better suited for it," and having to be like, "Well, the director chose me for it, so you're not better suited for it." Right. And it started to piss me off every time we had that conversation where she was like, "Oh, you're gonna give it to me. You're gonna give it to me. I'm the rising star. You're gonna give it to me." It's like, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
But
so she was a great antagonist for you. You're like, I'm gonna get this girl expelled. Yeah, that's so funny.
I mean, from anyone but Fifi, I was constantly. It was Fifi. It was Fifi.
Yeah, I appreciate It's very funny too when you're like, one thing I do, another thing I wish they changed was when you did a restart, you lose the information that you gained that run, which is kind of frustrating because like if you can see the writing on the wall where you're like, this is not going well, but I would like to keep the information, you have to like go get yourself expelled, which just feels like a waste of time. But so I do like when you're in the situation where you're like talking to, if you know it's kind of a busted run and you're talking to the owl, you can be like, just expel me already. And she's like, fine. Boom. Yeah. And then it's over. It's so funny. But okay, I think that does it for characters and stuff. I think we can talk about endings. Jess, you got one ending or two endings? Like that felt like conclusive, not the endings where you get expelled. Okay. Tell me about it. I would like to know.
I didn't know if you were going to go like around and talk about it.
No, I want to hear yours since you got the one. I want to make sure neither of us like steal it.
It was after being expelled 9 times and then being not invited back. because she shut down the scholarship program,
Uh-huh.
like 5 or something. And then so basically it was a really quick run too,
Mm-hmm.
which really surprised me. But I had like I think 80 bad points.
Okay.
And I'm in the library. I say, "I hate you, Louisa." Push.
Mm-hmm.
And she falls. I pick up the stick. I also get the filth book,
Mm-hmm.
take it. I go back to I lie to Bridget and I say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, it's me. It's Fifi, whatever." Go back to my room. I hide the hockey stick behind the door.
Yeah.
Run over to the gardens, but when I hovered my mouse over the gardens, it showed the path to the town,
Mm-hmm.
and it said I can go out and I could just slip out and no one will see me. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, let me go do that."
Uh-huh.
So I slipped out, went to the pub, talked to a guy who was a writer, which I had
Yeah.
learned in the previous run that was Natasha's dad.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me talk to Natasha's dad. Maybe he can help me out somehow. And I was like, hey, the school that your daughter's at, pregnant girl, fell out the window, like head of the hockey team, straight A student,
Mm-hmm.
help me. And so I got not note card,
The business card.
the business card, and I was like, okay, cool. And my little text box said like, oh, I could use this as leverage. And I was
Mm.
like, I could. Straight to the owl's office, and I was like, hey, this is a business card. I'm gonna tell the entire anyone who will listen that you let a kid get pregnant here, and that and also in the previous run I had learned that she was an atheist.
Yeah.
I was like, and that you're an atheist. And she was like, how do you know that? I'm gonna. And with all that leverage, I was like, she told me I was safe. And so I ended up planting more stuff on Fifi. Like, um, like we were in assembly, because I did that all before 9 a.m.
Yeah, dude,
We
you
went
crushed it. That's crazy.
we went to assembly. I put the shard of glass in
Mm-hmm.
Fifi's hair at assembly. Oh yeah, because when I went to the room for the hockey stick, I also took the glass out of my
Right.
hair. Put it in her hair, slipped the threatening note into Luisa's pocket. And then I just quite literally went about my day until prize giving.
Dude,
Oh,
that's like the ending I needed the most help on. That's crazy. You just like did that. That's
and
like the ending
also
I was looking for
I
because it's the
also
most
convinced
conclusive.
Will.
Uh,
I was like, Fifi hates you. She
mm,
knows what you've done. Fifi hates you. She just tried to kill Luisa. Like, would you back me up at prize giving? And he was like, yeah, sure. I was like, great, cool. I got Natasha to say that she loved me at prize giving. Like, everyone was stacked against Fifi.
no
And
wonder you enjoyed this game so much. You got like the god ending at 4 hours. That's incredible. What a fucking run that was. Because you were saying all these things. I was like, yep, this is right. Yep. And then like you just you did all that shit. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That yeah. The first ending I got was just to like not get expelled by the fucking prize giving, and like I think I still got like something bad still happened, but yeah, I got that ending absolutely last because just nothing was going my way. So I'm very impressed. That's incredible. Um, Jackie, how about you? What endings did you get or ending?
I almost got the one that just got, except I'm like doing all that because I knew about the journalist and everything because I did the getting Fifi expelled at the assembly,
Mm-hmm.
and then that got the scholarship taken away. Which part of me is like, you know what, that is an ending. I technically didn't get
Mm-hmm.
expelled, right? And but I didn't know it would be so quick to just go to the journalist. I was actually having some trouble getting the timing right on getting doing all the setup you had of getting the glass out of your hair and the stick behind the door and then going out
Mm-hmm.
to the garden. But every time I finished doing everything to go out to the garden, the headmistress was there, and I'm like, well, I can't go out now, and I just kept kind of getting stuck around that point and getting the timing right in order to do a lot of everything else. Um, there's also one not real ending that I didn't do a whole lot of looking on how many guides are out there, but I didn't see on my glancing, where you get past the prize giving, but like no one gets in trouble and no one gets expelled, and it's this neutral thing until you get kidnapped and taken out to basically be buried alive.
Yep.
Because the
That's
whole
the
Black
ending I
Dolphin
got.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was wild. I didn't expect that to happen. It's like, okay, we're turning into a horror game now really quick. So that's kind of that I got before the game came out, and I'm like, okay, well that I thought I was gonna have to play after that too, but I
Right.
never got
Me
that ending
too.
again.
Yeah. Dude, that ending pissed me off because it was the first one I got that felt like,
Oh man, yeah.
because I was like, okay, cool. I'm finally I'm good. I made it to the prize giving. They have no fucking evidence on me. I'm good. And all that happened was Louisa was no longer the head girl because she's gonna be in like a back brace for whatever reason. So Fifi's next in line. She becomes person in charge. All good. We make it through the prize assembly. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna stay the night because Miss Lemon wants me to go over lines and rehearsal the next day. And lo and behold, fucking Fifi and a crew of fucking people wearing bunny skeleton masks busts into my room and kidnaps me. And that's the end. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, what happened? I was like, what did I do wrong? And then it's just because Fifi's still there. And I was like, God damn it. Like,
Yep.
that was such a buzzkill because I think that was at like the 5 hour mark for me. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I was done. But yeah, the main one I was fishing for that I needed a guide for was Jess's, because I think what ended up happening was, like, Jess, you did it all in 4 hours, and I think you got a nice like slice of clues that you're like, yes, these all go together. And meanwhile, I went through it so many times. I think by the time I got that ending, I was like expelled 22 times. And so I had so many fucking pieces of evidence that I couldn't review because there wasn't a way to do that. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with all this information. So I had to like look at a guide that wasn't like do everything. It was just like, here's like kind of where you need to go. And I was like, okay, thank God. Like, I know kind of where to point this evidence at. But yeah, that fucking, you reminded me, Jackie, of that ending. And that was such a buzzkill for me because I was like, yes, we made it through. I didn't get expelled. Now you're dead. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I kind of thought the Black Dolphin stuff was going to be more relevant in general, but
Right.
just some nice background building for
Yeah.
the setting.
That was interesting. It definitely felt like I think I would have, if I would have gotten that ending and just gone home. But I guess it's because what's her face, Verity in the present, who's telling her dad, is like distraught. So it's kind of like a situation where it's like, no, the ending, one, she has to survive, and two, the ending has to be, kind of bad, or in the case of becoming head girl, where she's just like partying basically. Yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like there should be a neutral ending that feels like, okay, yeah, but it gives you like a tease that there's more to do.
Wouldn't that be, I think, because I started reading some forums about Expelled. Wouldn't that be the bartender, like when you become a bartender?
That one you can do like right away though. There's no work that gets done to that. You can just like, you could probably, maybe not on day one because I think you have to get expelled, but like day two, if you get out of the building and go outside, I think you can just go straight to, oh, you'd have to be evil or whatever, but you can just go, and then you just talk to the guy and you just become a barmaid, which is very funny.
So funny.
I did get that one because I was like, well, let's see where this goes. But yeah, I feel like there should be one where it's just like life goes on, but things are not good. Like maybe, it does like a jump cut to like Verity and Fifi still beefing like the next year or something, not fucking being buried alive kind of thing. But maybe that's a reference to something in Overboard. Maybe those people in the skeleton masks are something in Overboard, but I have no idea. But yeah, that the big ending is basically reporting to that journalist that, hey, all this shit is going down. You should do some reporting on that, and then you become head girl, which doesn't seem like something Verity would want, to be completely honest. So I thought that was a little strange, but Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Do you guys have anything you want to say about the game?
Not really.
No, I just wish that I don't know, that I was better at games like this. But one of the good things about being a playtester, being bad is kind of good.
Yeah.
So if you keep messing up some parts, they know to, hey, maybe look into it for the dummies out there.
Right. I know. Yeah, I'm like I felt dumb. And I was like, I'm coming off of Blueprints and Tunic feeling like, yeah, I'm good.
It's yeah,
This will be no problem. And then nope.
I think it's different types of puzzles. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I was signing up for this terrible for-profit like coding school, don't do it. Don't. It's terrible. Anyway, but they had like 2 tracks for like the web dev and then like the networking stuff. And I had to take a test to see which I would be better at. And I was really good at like the number focused logic puzzles and very bad at like the word people focused logic puzzles. And so I got into the web dev, and I think it's kind of like that for this. But yeah, in general, there are just so many variables. Like, unfortunately, they couldn't have a flow chart like what you're wanting, because there are just so many things that go into every little thing, that create like such unique situations, like
Right.
bug testing and just saying this person says that they're here but they're not here, or this person is here and it's weird, they should be in this other place, or just because there's so many things that can happen in this.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe an in between would be like a recap of your playthrough. Like when you get expelled, you can like review your choices, like your big choices that actually like impacted things, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that would be, we would be like, oh, okay, this happened because of this kind of thing. You're like, okay, got it. But yeah, like you said, there's so many variables that I'm like, I know that's kind of like an impossibility to ask, where it's like, yeah, this is what happened. But I definitely this kind of happened before, when we talked about when I had AJ on and we talked about 10 dead doves. Talking about the game made me enjoy it more. Right? It's like there are so many aspects of this game I liked. I just got so frustrated with hitting wall after wall after wall, and then finally thinking I break through, and then they're like, "No, you're dead." Actually, which didn't feel great. But Jess, you fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
This game was for you. So you got to go play Overboard now.
Yeah.
Go murder your husband.
Yeah, go get away with murder and report back on if Natty is in that game and all the tie-ins and stuff.
Sure.
Cool. Anything else we want to talk about before we move on to plugs?
Don't think so.
Cool. All right. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you plug all your stuff? You're literally in every facet of the internet. I feel like you do everything.
Yeah, I do everything. It's terrible because I have a full-time job, so I can't do everything. So I've been trying to like focus more in on stuff. But I have 2 podcasts, Fake Gamer Bro, which is the one relevant for this, where I talk about mobile games. I also have a Homestuck podcast. If you like Homestuck, it's called Live Laugh Stuck. And that it has a pretty good backlog, and I've been going through a read through with someone who had never read Homestuck before, and we are almost done with that. But there's I talk about a lot of stuff on there. Most notably, the unofficial Homestuck collection. I was able to get the 2 people who are primarily responsible for that on to talk about how they built it. If you want to read Homestuck, that is the way to do it. Is the unofficial Homestuck collection.
That's awesome.
The Homestuck website is dying. It is dead more days than not. That's just how it is. So go for that. I mentioned that I had games on itch.io. I have like 3 games, I think, that are like actually complete little short games. So you can check that out.
Pop-Tart Quest is a big favorite of mine.
Yeah, Pop-Tart Quest is great. It's a funny little game where you get Pop-Tarts, but it's the funniest, simplest one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I have like a billion stuff. You can go find me on Blue Sky, jaxiax.com. And I post more about all the other thousands of things I do over there.
You're on Twitch too.
I'm on Twitch. I haven't been doing a lot of streaming lately, but yeah, I'm Amberlin on Twitch.
Yeah, all those will be in the show notes. Lots of links, but we'll definitely make sure those are all there, because yeah, you're literally everywhere. You're
all the time.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
But Jess, how about you hit us with our socials?
You can find us everywhere at Short Long Pod. If you search up Short Game Long Talk, we're there too. We're the probably top search thing.
Yeah,
And also in our show notes will be the link to our link tree, where you can find all of our socials there as well, and the link to our corner of the internet, which is our Discord server, where we talk about all things literally video games, dialects and languages. Apparently today we talked about French a lot. And yeah, that's where you can find us.
Yeah, and then also
and you can find Eric.
Yeah, my Twitch stuff is down there, which I'm one of the reasons why I influenced the talking of French in the Discord recently, because I don't speak French, but I'm playing Expedition 33, which is French as fuck. French. And apparently there's 3 people in our tiny little corner of the internet that all have a fascination with speaking French. So that happened for a little bit. I didn't expect that, but It was very funny. So if you're interested in things like that, we also have a book corner, movies, all that kind of stuff. Any kind of discussion you want to have, or if you want to come to the Discord and have an idea for the Discord, there's that stuff too. And I think that's it for those the plugs. But if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to leave a review, comment if you're on Spotify or YouTube, and share it with a friend if you feel like they might like this too. If they're a fan of this game or this type of game, send us their way, and helps the channel grow. And thanks again to Jackie for being on. I really appreciate it. We'll have to pop on and talk about some mobile game on your show.
You need to play Lifeline.
I do need to play Lifeline. That's gonna be good. That was the original idea, was to play Lifeline, but that's an exclusive mobile game, so that's gonna be on Jackie's show, I think. But yeah, that'll do it. Take care. On your way.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Short Game Long Talk, a podcast where we talk about short games. Nope. Messed it up. I haven't messed. I've actually been on a streak, and you know what happened is because I didn't say, my ritual broke because I didn't say, oh yeah, just for warning for the guest that I messed this up a lot, and I haven't in months. Yeah, and I didn't say it, and I messed it up. So there we go.
Here you go.